some point in health recoveries, we hit that rock bottom, that place where we don't think we'll ever come back from. So today's video, I'm going to talk about hitting rock bottom myself and how it was a major catalyst to change and what I did to get out of it. When I hit rock bottom, I'd been sick with a host of different chronic ailments for about 2 decades. And I'd just come out of a round of corrective dentistry after some dental malpractice. And then I also caught flu. And I'd been housebound for 3 years. I was tired and frustrated with my lot. I had a marriage that was falling apart. I lived in a house that was barely finished after some renovations, and I was just totally off. And I felt at this point like I had hit rock bottom, but it was only when I received a phone call about my favourite uncle who had 2 weeks to live because of a brain tumour. So as you can imagine, I was already quite weak, but I now was in a state of shock, and I was desperate to try and see him. When I found out about my uncle, I literally felt like someone had ripped my heart out of my chest. It was really that start of really falling down into that black hole. And I stopped sleeping, I stopped eating, my digestion was all over the place. All of my symptoms really started to ramp up. And I spent most of my time lying on the floor watching television, really feeling quite sorry for myself. And then he died, and I had no opportunity for closure, no opportunity to say goodbye. And it's at that point I felt lower than I'd ever felt physically or emotionally. It feels like your whole life has disappeared and you just don't know how you can get it back. And I didn't leave the house for 6 weeks, and I completely lost interest in life, and I really felt like I was never going to get better. I started to shut down and came very close to giving up. And I really felt like that physical and emotional pain had sort of merged into one. I really didn't have any hope, and I almost didn't have the strength to do anything about it. And I was in that dark place for about 3 months. And it was a very dark place. So getting out of the hole was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. But this was really tough. But in order to do it, I had to make some very clear decisions about the path that I wanted my life to take. So I had to decide I wanted to get out of it. And it sounds crazy. Of course I wanted to get out. But I kind of got frozen in wallowing and self-pity. So I really came close to giving up on myself. I came close to giving up on my recovery. I came close to just giving up on my life. So the decision to keep going and to start living again was the first decision that I had to make. And what I found is when I actually said yes, and I'm not going to give up, I became really super committed to living and also recovery in a way I didn't have before. And until I hit this crisis point, I didn't realize that I was the one who cared the most about my health. No one else cared as much about my health and about my recovery as I did. So all the hope and responsibility that I pinned on others was unfair. And actually I needed to start taking the reins on this and starting to be empowered to make the changes happen that I wanted. I'd really love to know what you think of this video so far. Your comments give me so much inspiration for new videos, but also you help each other, and that's what I'm trying to build here, is a little helping community. And as painful as it can be, when you really start to take responsibility, it's amazing how much strength you feel. And taking responsibility and seeing small improvements helped me really feel powerful and much stronger than I had in probably my whole life. I started to believe in my ability to heal, but also that I had the power to make this stuff happen. And because of that, I'm really excited about the new program I've got dropping soon. And it's exactly what I would have wanted when I was in the weeds and couldn't find myself through it. So if that's interesting, make sure you sign up to my newsletter. I've put the link in the description because I'll be telling my newsletter group first when it's launched. There are limited spots on this program. So rock bottom is really a hard place to get out of, and it can feel a bit overwhelming. So one of the things that was really important for me was making sure that I took very small but intentional baby steps. So I really had to unlearn my old way of doing things, which is usually trying to learn too many things at once. So I had to drop the pressure, I had to drop the expectation. And so I just focused on one thing at a time, prioritized that, got that sorted out, and then it's only then I moved on to the next thing. My uncle and I shared a real love of music, and it was the thing that brought us together. But when I got ill, it was the thing that I left out. I stopped listening to music, I stopped enjoying it, and during this time, as I was coming out of rock bottom, this was something that I really embraced again. And I would look for other little things that I used to enjoy that I was able to do at the time and brought those in too. And it's amazing how much those completely changed my perspective on life without really a great deal of effort apart from pressing the play button. One of the things that I really struggled with during this time was flares. So if you're dealing with those at the moment and want a way to navigate them, just make sure you watch this video next.